Local people, important issues. CBS 10 WILM's weekly focus on the Lower Cape Fear region. This is Byline Wilmington with your host, Don Ansell.
Welcome and good morning. We hope everybody is having a wonderful holiday week. Today we're taking a look back at some of the top news stories of 2008. Our guests are two of the area's leading reporters from the Star News and the Star News Online, Cy Cantwell, and host of Talk Radio's On the Wave Line with Rhonda Bellamy on 980 The Wave, Rhonda Bellamy. And good morning. Thank you both for joining us. Let's start off. Oh, and by the way, they have co-authored a book on the events of 1898, and I meant to bring it this morning, and it was laying out, and I just walked without it, but I wanted to mention that. And it's available in all the local bookstores. It's called
Moving Forward Together.
Forward Together.
A Community Remembers 1898.
Yeah, it's a great piece, folks, a great piece of history.
It was really fun working with Rhonda on that project.
Likewise.
Let's start off with a little overview of what kind of year it's been in the business of covering the news, Rhonda. Never
a dull day. With a protracted election cycle that was almost 2 years long and getting right down to the wire in 2008, hands down, it was what we talked about just about every single day.
Cy?
We had a lot of breaking local stories and state stories, so yeah, never a dull day for us either. Just a lot to keep track of.
In general, what news category do you think caught the attention of the American public? Is there one that just pops out at you?
Actually, there are three.
Okay.
There would be politics, the economy, and corruption.
I'd go along with those. I think the year started with the election and then kind of pivoted into the economy.
Or let's talk about the election process for a minute, starting with the primaries. And there was a lot of stories that came under the banner of the election. So I want to try to sort of power through some of them. Of course, the magnitude of the story of Barack Obama being elected the first African-American president can't be overstated. Cy, do you have anything to add to all the comments about that story?
Just that it was heartening to see, not just in the black community, but across America in general, how people have really taken this to task. People who didn't vote for Obama are giving him unbelievably high favorability ratings. People have a lot of high expectations for this man, and I think this just really was a historic election for everyone.
Rhonda, you're African American. What did it mean to you?
I think it meant that, you know, after years and years of African Americans feeling disengaged from the entire political process, this was a person that they thought they could get behind. And history aside, the use of the internet to raise funds and to get your message out was unprecedented. And I think it just shows a certain brilliant strategy that worked.
How big was the Palin VP pick and all the stories that swirled around her throughout the campaign, Cy?
It sure was fun, wasn't it? Sarah Palin really livened up this campaign when she came in. I thought it was a terrible pick, and then I thought it was an ingenious pick. McCain's numbers picked up. All of a sudden, everybody was talking about Sarah Palin. She really, you know, talk about outshining Joe Biden. She became just a big focus of the thing. But after she gave those TV interviews and Americans started having questions about how prepared she was, kind of went the other way.
Now, I had the reverse response. I thought that it was a brilliant pick at first. I knew that he wanted to get a female to kind of pick off some of the Hillary Clinton voters, and also wanted someone young to counter the concerns about his age. And that lasted for about 2 days, though. And when we started looking a little further into her background, the Troopergate, her family situation, I think that a lot of people started looking askance at Senator McCain for the pick.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion on whether Governor Palin was treated differently by the press and other candidates with charges of gender bias and a gotcha mentality. Your comments, Cy?
I think it was fair, because she did have these issues. A lot of people were saying maybe it was a class kind of a thing. She came from a different background, more family oriented, and so there were charges that she was treated maybe as an evangelical a little bit differently. But it was obvious that there were issues that people needed to work through. Was she really ready to become president of the United States?
Was there media bias, Rhonda?
I don't think there was bias. I really don't.
Do you think she overshadowed Senator McCain during the campaign?
Certainly.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, so now let's talk about the Hillary-Barack primary. The drama surrounding that was certainly fodder for some of the best news stories of the year. Any of stories of that period come to mind? Three come to my mind, but I want you to take the lead side.
Just the general storyline that Hillary appeared to be inevitable, and people didn't really know who Obama was other than a great speech he'd given 4 years earlier at Democratic National Convention. So to see him come up and to see her kind of stumble during the campaign, there were some pivotal moments. There was one debate where she gave a confused answer about whether driver's licenses should be issued to illegal aliens in New York. She appeared to be trying to coast her way through the primary contest, and it didn't work for her.
Rhonda?
I think that former President Bill Clinton may have had a far greater impact to her detriment than many thought was possible, because he's been a favorite in the Democratic Party, but some of the statements that he made during the primary, I think, cost her.
Three of the stories that came to my mind were the 3 a.m. telephone call,
Yeah.
Reverend Wright, and Hillary under fire in Bosnia. You remember those stories?
Yes,
yeah,
I do.
Of course
Yeah, those
you do.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I think Obama's race speech would probably play into that too. His response to the Reverend Wright thing was to give a speech that was, I went back and listened to it on my iPod after the election, and it really is just a remarkable statement of where America stands today. And it showed him to be a far more thoughtful and deliberate person than maybe I had realized.
And it all played out, the primary, kind of like a big soap opera, with a lot of drama, interesting twists and turns in the plot, and an unexpected climax. Did that make her pick as Secretary of State even more dramatic, a more dramatic moment in news?
Well, it certainly was a dramatic moment. I think everybody was wondering what Hillary's future was going to be. And it appeared that Obama was, after he had not picked her for vice president, I think a lot of her supporters felt like he was snubbing maybe the whole female gender, I don't know. So to reach out and give her a post that important and that vital was an interesting pick.
Did it surprise you?
It didn't surprise me. I knew that she would have some seat at the table. I wasn't sure which it would be.
We're going to come back and talk about Joe the plumber. Stay with us here on Byline. We'll be right back.